Good afternoon. It is great to see so many of you here to help the Metropolitan Historical Commission celebrate its 49th Annual Preservation Awards. Established in 1973, the National Trust for Historic Preservation established Preservation Month. It is a time when communities across the country recognize the importance of their historic places. Many events promote historic places and community pride, promote heritage tourism, and showcase the social and economic benefits of historic preservation. By celebrating Historic Preservation Month, communities honor the power of these places and reaffirm their commitment to protecting them. It is an honor for you all to be here. This year's theme is Harassing the Power of Place, celebrating the countless ways that preservation work strengthens communities, breathes innovative life into neighborhoods, support a healthier planet, and build a more just and connected society. After the annual Preservation Awards, the Metropolitan Historical Commission invites you to join us for a reception at the Customs House at 701 Broad. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Wynn. I'm Tim Walker. I'm the Executive Director of the Metro Historical Commission. As our Chair stated, we welcome you to the 49th Annual Preservation Awards program. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank those who have made today's event possible. First, I'd like to start with the Metro Historical Commission and Metro Historic Zoning Commission members that are with us today. Would you please stand? I'd also like to add our county historian, Dr. Carol Busey. Carol, would you please stand as well? These individuals volunteer their time and energy, and they provide guidance and support to me and my staff, and we really thank them for their service. I also want to thank the Nashville Public Library for allowing us to use this auditorium and for recording this afternoon's presentation, and the Metro Nashville Network, who will be airing the presentation later this month on Metro Channel 3. Also want to thank the Metro Nashville Historical Foundation. They're the Friends group for our office, the department, and they'll be sponsoring the reception that follows at the Customs House, as well as the Customs House Associates who are hosting us, and the Nashville First Baptist Church that's providing parking. Finally, I want to take a moment to recognize my staff. So, my staff, would you please stand? Some are also outside and some are also at the Customs House preparing there, but they're a dedicated, professional, hardworking group, and we couldn't do the work we do without them. So I really appreciate it. And I want to especially recognize Scarlett Miles. I'm looking for Scarlett. Scarlett, where are you? She's in the booth in the back behind the glass. There she is. She's waving. Scarlett's responsible for putting on this award show, and she's done an excellent job this year, and we're really appreciative of it. Finally, we're honored here today to have Mayor O'Connell with us as our keynote speaker. The mayor has supported the department and its work long before he became our mayor, both in his early days as a neighborhood president and later as a two-term council member. So if you would, join me in welcoming him to the stage and thanking him for his support. Mayor O'Connell.
Tim, thank you so much. Thank you to you and Chair Linda Wynn for leadership of the Metro Historical Commission, and thank you also to Chairman A. Bell and the members of the Metro Historical Zoning Commission, Metro Historic Zoning Commission for being here today. And I'm very delighted and honored that we have been joined by Mayor Cooper, one of last year's honorees. So Mayor Cooper, thank you for being here and good to see you. I think I just saw Vice Mayor Angie Henderson walk in alongside Councilmember Jacob Coupin, so thank you both for being here. And of course, one of the things we are celebrating today is the architects, designers, contractors, homeowners, historians, preservationists who will be recognized alongside the work that the commissioners have put in to making today possible. I am delighted to welcome everybody back to our Nashville Downtown Library for the 49th Annual Preservation Awards ceremony in the midst of National Preservation Month. So congratulations in advance to all of our award winners and honorees who you will meet shortly. As someone who lives in a house in Salem Town that won one of these awards, I am personally incredibly grateful to live in a city where we celebrate all of the ways in which preservation makes the city and our great neighborhoods even greater. I was certainly, as Tim mentioned, proud to advocate for preservation as a council member and the expansion of the Downtown Historic Preservation District, as well as a new district and overlay at Marathon Village, and still proud to support this concept today. We strongly support the idea of preservation and how it works with the character of both downtown and our neighborhoods. And I will say, sometimes the things we have as local priorities are not always shared across the state. There is always a hard needle to thread between our local approach and where some of the state perspective is on this and many other issues. And I think it is worth addressing directly the difficulty of change, which is hard for everyone, but maybe hardest for those interested in preserving our history. As you know, the Metro Council voted in March to move historic zoning to the planning department. I think there is a natural alignment between planning and historic. This isn't unusual. Many cities do have this structure. I would say what is more unusual is that this is not something that the Metro Council undertook unilaterally. This was in response to some aggressively preemptive state legislation on this matter that our office and the Metro Council were tracking. And in an environment in which they just fully dismantled the Tennessee Human Rights Commission, I think it is good to have a focus on preserving local regulatory authority. So I do want to talk a little bit about what's next and how we're responding. I think first and foremost, our priority was to preserve all of the jobs that go with this in the respective departments. And up next, Metro Planning is committed to updating the functional preservation plan and integrating it with Nashville Next. This will involve all aspects of preservation, from archaeology to landmarks to historic zoning. And as everyone in this room knows, preservation requires a holistic approach with many tools, not all of them regulatory. One of the tools is communication, and we certainly know that this room is full of stakeholders that are specialists in engagement. I think it is important to see this work in the broader context of some of the other work happening on important initiatives across the city, including the Unified Housing Strategy that was released just prior to the State of Metro address a few weeks ago. And I have invited Lucy Kempf, our planning director for the city, to revisit Nashville Next at the 10-year mark to reflect on what we got right, how we should prepare for our next chapter of growth, and specifically to accommodate how it affects what we preserve. So with that, I am pleased to be a part of the 49th version of this event, and I'm going to step aside and let our people and places speak for themselves. But thank you all for attending this afternoon's ceremony and for your role in preserving and promoting Nashville's history. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Shelton, and I'll start out with apologies to anybody whose name I slaughter. Please excuse me. But it's been such a pleasure to serve alongside Casey Lee and Ellen DeMint Hurd as part of the judging team for this year's Preservation Awards. Like you, we have a passion for architecture and local history, so it was a treat to spend the day visiting the nominated properties, learning more about the history and details of each project, and seeing some truly amazing results. If you're here today representing one of the nominated projects, we commend you. Preservation work is not for the faint of heart. It takes vision, tenacity, dedication, and patience. So much patience to know that it'll be worth it in the end, that you'll figure out that awkward roofline or building lot, that you'll stop the water and the decay, that your historic windows will finally work just right, your walls will finally be set plumb, and your floors more even. Along the way, you may uncover original siding, a fireplace, a fingerprint, or papers. These discoveries will keep you going. One day, life will return and settle in. People will look around and marvel at what you have done. And now, we can't wait to tell you about these terrific projects, so let's get started. As we read the honorable mentions and winning projects' names, will everyone associated with the project please stand and approach the stage by the steps. I will describe each project as you come forward. We'll begin with the residential category. An honorable mention goes to 827 Kirkwood Avenue. In recent years, many of the large residential lots along Kirkwood have been subdivided and new homes constructed on smaller parcels. Without the protection of historic zoning, several historic homes have been demolished in the process. Thankfully, the team of Craftsman Residential, P. Shea Design, Superior Development, and Hebert and Ball Land Design saw potential in this impressive stone bungalow despite its state of disrepair. We appreciate the attention to detail in repairing and restoring the exquisite leaded glass front doors, the stained glass windows and stonework, along with the introduction of modern amenities to the home. We're delighted to see it standing proudly along the Kirkwood Avenue streetscape. Great work. An honorable mention goes to 3002 Belmont Boulevard. The casual observer may not notice that this crab orchard stone bungalow in Belmont Hillsborough is placed askew within its lot, but the team designing an addition for the one-story home certainly did. The team of Allard Ward Architects, David Haverkamp, Boots Up Design, and Southern Edge Construction met the challenges of the site masterfully. The result is an addition and outbuilding that are subtle and sympathetic. After careful repair and restoration, the home's historic details truly shine, including stonework, fanlight window, flared eaves, columns, soffits, and brackets. Nice work. A preservation award goes to 1402 Linden Avenue. As anyone who's renovated a home while living in it knows, sometimes it takes years, and sometimes you live with plywood over your window openings. This is exactly what Lee and Paul Gilbert experienced while renovating and restoring their home in Belmont Hillsborough. Thanks goes to their team of Allard Ward Architects, Michael Brown Construction, and a host of specialized craftspeople. This was truly a labor of love, and they went above and beyond to repair and restore their historic windows and front porch. They addressed everything from paint-covered window hardware and lost doorknobs to replicating baseboards and trim throughout the house. Those smaller, touchable details that make a big impact. Impressive work. A preservation award goes to 1302 Stratton Avenue. The Lachlan Springs home of Ross and Lee Margulis features some exquisite Queen Anne style details, including the wraparound porch with decorative detailing, stained glass windows, and profiled edge lap siding. Despite being divided into apartments at one point, the home still retained many interior features, including expansive ceilings and windows, pocket doors, and fireplaces. Bootstrap architecture and construction restored and enhanced the historic elements of the original structure and added living space that is modern, open, and light-filled. We thought this addition was nicely done. It was well hidden from the front, It's complementary to the historic home, but clearly differentiated from the original. Excellent job. A preservation award goes to 855 Bradford Avenue. The team of Michael Hull, Michael Farrell, Allard Ward Architects, Roger Potter Construction, and ALK Design and Interiors has truly transformed this house in Waverly, Belmont through painstaking restoration with a modest addition. Most of the original siding found underneath the asbestos siding was preserved or replaced in kind. Original windows that could not be repaired or reglazed were replaced with period-appropriate design. The addition takes advantage of the wide lot, expanding the home's footprint to the rear and the side and allowing the addition to remain compatible in scale and style with the hipped roof of the original home. Terrific work. And lastly, a preservation award goes to 415 Bushnell Street, fondly called the Castle. This impressive stone residence in Lachlan Springs is easily recognized by its delightful turret. Through the work of Leverick Holmes, Josh Johnson Architecture, Coy Landscaping, and Gordon Wynn, it has been dramatically transformed. Their meticulous restoration of the original windows and carefully cleaned stonework are notable. The new window-filled addition takes full advantage of the grade and maximizes views of the Shelby Golf Course. Wonderful job. Congratulations, everybody. And now Casey Lee will announce our next category.
Thank you, Sandra. This year's nominated properties represent the Belmont, Hillsborough, Edgefield, Germantown, Greenwood, Lachlan Springs East End, Richland West End, Sunnyside, and Waverly Belmont Historic Zoning Districts. So before we continue, I'd like to highlight the leadership recognition mention found in your program. Yesterday afternoon, the Metropolitan Historic Zoning Commission presented its annual leadership recognition to the Richland West End and the East End neighborhood associations, and we wanted to make sure to acknowledge this important achievement. Like the Historic Zoning Commission, we also appreciate the leadership demonstrated by both neighborhood groups in updating their respective design guidelines. It's often very hard and thankless work, but it is important work, and we commend these two groups for their efforts to preserve the history and character of their neighborhoods. And with that, let's continue with the infill category. A preservation award goes to 717 Fatherland Street. Architect Van Pawn's design for Paul Hoffman and Peter Martino's residence in Edgefield takes inspiration from some of the oldest homes in the neighborhood, including the iconic Jesse James house just a few doors down. The design takes care to differentiate itself with a wide, elevated front porch and Italianate-style details. The rear wing reads like an addition and is carefully nestled behind the main wing. The scale is appropriate for the neighborhood, and we admired the modern interpretation of historic design and ornamentation. Owen Builders, Sarah Ray Interior Design, and Melosi Landscape rounded out the project team. Nice work. And now we continue with the educational and institutional category. A preservation award goes to Travelers Rest Historic House Museum. Travelers Rest is the oldest house open to the public in Davidson County. Judge John Overton started construction on the house in 1799 with the use of free black and enslaved craftspeople. Additions were completed in 1803, 1821, and 1885. This rehabilitation project focused on stabilizing the building, primarily addressing the 1821 interior wall, which was bowing and causing structural issues in the house. Several firms worked on the project, from initial scans and assessments to restoration of woodwork and masonry. While making the repairs, the crew uncovered a new area of clapboard siding and wood trim around the 1803 door and discovered 3 fingerprints in a section of the bricks. The museum left these unexpected discoveries visible to demonstrate how the house was constructed and to interpret the role of the enslaved craftspeople who made the brick and built the addition. This enriches the historical narrative of those who lived and worked the property and is a great interpretive tool. Very impressive. A preservation award goes to Sunnyside and Sevier Park. After years of planning and design and more time in construction, Sunnyside debuted a new look last summer, trading its eyesore status for eye-catching appeal. The project restored the 1852 Greek Revival mansion, reconstructed its back L, uncovered and restored portions of an 1823 log residence, and repaired and reconstructed historic outbuildings for public use. The comprehensive renovation was informed by extensive research and investigation involving police forensics, archaeology, dendrochronology, and historic paint analysis. These various tools of study also led to a multifaceted interpretation of the site featuring shadow boxes, signage, and a self-guided tour. The exterior looks amazing, and the open light-filled hyphen clearly distinguishes the new wing. The project involved many partners, including Dryden Studio and Dowdle Construction. We commend the Metro government and the leadership of Metro Parks and Metro Historical for going above and beyond. Incredible job, and congratulations. All right, and now Ellen Hurd will present the commercial category.
Thank you, Casey. Here are the nominations. A preservation award goes to May Hosiery Mills. Located in Wedgwood, Houston, this complex of 6 brick buildings is the former home of May Hosiery, once heralded as the largest hosiery manufacturer in the South. The multi-year, multi-phase restoration project led by AJ Capital Partners preserved the building's historic features, including brick facades, large windows, steel beams, wood floors, and factory layouts, while adapting them for new uses as office, retail, hotel, and restaurant space. We appreciated the open industrial feel, exposed ceiling structures, innovative window treatments, and the little treasures like old fire alarms and porcelain electrical isolators left in place to remind visitors of the building's past. Great work. A preservation award goes to the Neuhoff Curve Building. Built in 1906 for the Neuhoff Abattoir and Packing Company, the 5-story Curve Building is probably the most recognizable and iconic building in the Neuhoff site. It contains about 9 structures built between 1906 and 1952, shaped by their proximity to the curving railroad spur. When packing operations at the site ceased for good in 1992, it sat disused and deteriorating for nearly 30 years, just waiting for its resurrection. This project exemplifies innovation at every turn and represents a true leap of faith and mastery at making it work. We appreciated the juxtaposition of old and new. We marveled at the preserved ruins, and we can't wait to go back and wander the labyrinth of passages, pathways, bridges, and courtyards to views of the Cumberland River and the exposed concrete, brick, and steel of the surrounding structures. A multitude of partners joined the team, led by New City Properties and Smith Gee Studio. Amazing work. Once again, let's give a round of applause to all the award winners, and thank you. Now, I'd like to introduce Commissioner Jim Hubler, who will present the first honor award of the evening. Thank you.
Good evening. We're honored to posthumously recognize Dr. Kevin E. Smith, a scholar, educator, and archaeologist whose contributions to Tennessee's cultural heritage are both lasting and immeasurable. Through excavations at sites like the Hermitage and Bicentennial Mall, and through his leadership in statewide preservation efforts, Dr. Smith profoundly deepened our understanding of our region's past. At Middle Tennessee State University, he built the anthropology program from the ground up and mentored generations of students. He earned a reputation as a gifted and generous teacher in the classroom, in the field, and in life. Dr. Smith believed that archaeological resources are not obstacles to progress, but essential to our identity and the development of a modern city. We now share a remembrance from former U.S. Senator Bill Frist. When Tracy and I bought Old Town in Williamson County years ago, we weren't just looking for a home, we were looking for a place that resonated with meaning. At the top of our wish list was a connection to Native American history. For Tracy, that desire came from her years of engagement with the Lakota of South Dakota and ancestral roots on her father's side. For me, it stemmed from my work in healthcare on reservations and early experiments with telemedicine, especially for underserved rural and indigenous communities. That's where Kevin Smith entered our lives. I was riding a bus through Franklin, Tennessee, buzzing with activity, when I called Tom Beasley, an old friend who had once worked with Kevin on Mississippian mounds near Dixon. Tom didn't hesitate. Call Kevin Smith at MTSU. He's quiet, thoughtful, patient, and the best archaeologist in the region. That simple referral turned into one of the most meaningful friendships in our lives. Kevin showed up at our door a few weeks later, ponytailed, camera reserved. He didn't look me in the eye at first. I wasn't sure if it was just shyness or quiet judgment. Maybe he was wondering if this former senator and his wife were about to bulldoze history for a vanity project. In truth, I would have wondered the same. But then Tracy came to the door, and everything shifted. They connected instantly. Something about her way with people, natural, warm, sincere, put him at ease. The real connection happened when we walked the land. Kevin paused suddenly, turned his head, and said softly, "I hear the owls of Old Town." Tracy replied reverently, "Yes, the owls are sacred here." In that moment, the three of us began a journey together that would last more than a decade. Kevin didn't just walk the land, he read it. Every handful of dirt spoke to him, every mound, every echo in the trees. It was like watching someone speak with the past. Tracy and Kevin shared a love for soil, for ancient stories written in texture and topography. They'd crouch down, trace patterns in the earth, spot things I couldn't even begin to see. Their imaginations, grounded in reverence, could see children playing ball, weavers crafting baskets, fires crackling for ceremonies. I'd watch, amazed and often smiling. One afternoon, we invited Kevin to record some oral history for the Old Town archives. What started as an hour turned into 6 hours of stories about his life, his career, and the Mississippian culture that animated his spirit. We recorded it all with Jacob Dellinger. At that time, Kevin was already managing a pulmonary condition. He didn't know it then, but those hours would become a priceless gift. He sat for Tracy alone for the first few hours, discussing the sacred effigy we had acquired, one he connected to emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. Then I joined for the remaining hours. We later broke the video into 9 lectures and uploaded them to our website so that others could learn from Kevin as we had. Kevin had long tried to share this history more widely. At the start, he had worked with us to post information on the MTSU-hosted Old Town Heritage website. But it was clunky, hard to navigate, and didn't get the attention it deserved. So I built our own public-facing website for Old Town and gave Kevin a dedicated section complete with every paper he had written. His knowledge, so abundant, so deeply researched, deserved to be accessible to school children, every Tennessean, and anyone interested in the stories of those who came before us. In conversation, Kevin would slip easily into moments of spiritual connection, especially when he described ceremonial practices, effigies, burials, ancient medicine. He would tear up. It was as if he were there, standing with those long-gone people, sharing their rituals, understanding their faith. I'll admit, I never felt it quite the way he did. Few could, but I respected it deeply. Kevin loved his students. That was obvious in everything he did. He'd bring them to Old Town for dig days, training them with care and dignity. He once asked me if I'd spend time with a young student who was imagining or imaging artifacts. He wanted her to feel connected to her work in a lasting way. That was Kevin, always thinking about how to inspire the next generation. He lived for his students. He canceled meetings for them. He believed in them. His Facebook page, which Tracy followed far more diligently than I did, was a window into his humor, warmth, love for food and cooking, and deep devotion to his wife, Carol. Kevin could flash a smile that was quick and sharp, almost mischievous. He didn't waste words, but when he spoke, you listened, you leaned in. Over the years, Tracy and I supported several scholarships and initiatives at MTSU in Kevin's name or under his leadership. One supported Native American students, another honored his and his wife's legacy. He also once asked for help funding color photos for an archaeological journal article. Photos, he said, would bring the story to life. And he was right. We were glad to help. I tagged along on several mound tours with him, sometimes on Tom Beasley's farm near Dixon, 20 miles from Nashville, where Kevin did much of his work. Other times with the local archaeological society. I was just a curious student among them, but I showed up because Kevin showed up for history, for culture, for Tennessee. He edited and maintained the Regional Archaeological Journal, probably for decades. He was the editor, librarian, treasurer, and spiritual guide, all in one. Membership might have been $10 a year, but Kevin treated it like the Smithsonian. It's hard to describe the impact Kevin had on me and Tracy. He changed how we see the world, how we walk the land, how we think about time, how we honor the people who came before us. In every tour we give at Old Town, from world leaders to third graders, his fingerprints are there. We will continue to honor him not just in memory, but in action, by preserving what he loved, amplifying what he taught, and sharing what he opened in us. Kevin Smith didn't chase the spotlight. He didn't need to. His light came from the soil, from the stories he uncovered, from the students he mentored, and from the quiet joy he took in knowing that the past is never truly past. It's still here, beneath our feet. And thanks to Kevin, we're listening. And now, the 2025 Achievement Award for Kevin Smith will be accepted by his wife, Carol.
I'd rather have him be up front than me. Good afternoon, preservationists. Good afternoon, thank you. So, first of all, my personal introduction to Metro Historic Zoning Commissioner Gobble. is when we served on the Historic Zoning Commission back in 2011. So Commissioner Gobble, thank you for being my mentor as you introduced me to historic preservation. So thank you. This afternoon, we are proud to recognize Ron Gobble, FAIA, with an Achievement Award for his decades of visionary leadership in preserving and shaping Nashville's historic built environment. Ron co-founded Gobble Hayes Partners in 1977, and over the next 5 decades helped grow the firm into one of Nashville's most trusted names in architecture, planning, and preservation. From the very beginning, Ron understood that historic buildings weren't obstacles to development. They were opportunities for thoughtful design, community connection, and long-term stewardship. Throughout his career, Ron has led or overseen the rehabilitation of more than 100 buildings in downtown Nashville. His work includes some of the city's most iconic preservation projects, naming a few: the Hermitage Hotel, Union Station Hotel, and numerous structures along Broadway, 2nd Avenue, and Printers Alley. He also took on the personal challenge of restoring a set of 1850s commercial buildings on Church Street, now known as the Church Street Lofts. And I believe, Mr. Gobble, you still live there. So, bringing new life to structures that might have otherwise been lost. In addition to his design work, Ron served for many years as a commissioner on the Metro Historic Zoning Commission, where he helped shape policy to protect Nashville's historic neighborhoods. In the early 2000s, he was instrumental in the transformation of 5th Avenue North into the now 5th Avenue of the Arts, a key moment in downtown's revitalization. In the aftermath of the 2020 Christmas Day bombing, which we all quite not want to remember, but we do, and we still do, Mayor John Cooper turned to Ron to lead the long-term recovery and rebuilding of 2nd Avenue. That call speaks volumes, not only to his expertise, but to the trust he's earned across decades of civic leadership. He has been recognized in many honors, including elevation to the College of Fellows of the American Institute of Architects and the William Strickland Lifetime Achievement Award by AIA Tennessee. But perhaps the most meaningful recognition is the enduring impact of his work and on the fabric and character of our city, forever acknowledged. So please, it's an honor to celebrate Ron Gobble, and let's join that.
I'll say a couple of words. Thank you. I'm 76 years old, and that is the first standing ovation I've ever had. There's probably a reason for that. First thing I'd like to do is to say how surprised I am by this, and to thank the mayor, the staff, the commissioners, and all of you for this award. And Mayor Cooper and the work we did back a couple of years ago, and all that's gone into it, because all of this leadership has got Nashville where it is today. We're so successful with the historic properties we fought so hard for just 20 years ago. Because they're so successful now, people want to tear them down. They want to expand them. They want to make them no longer historic. So what I want to do is just express my appreciation to all of you here to fight the fight. And it will continue forever. But Nashville's a better place because of what all y'all have done. And I think we'll continue that fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it is my pleasure to also welcome Metro Historical Commission, Commissioner Lara Roast. Are you here? Oh, she's not. Okay. We have another commissioner, Dr. Marissa Richmond. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. This year's Fletch Koch Award honors someone whose career has woven together historic preservation, environmental stewardship, and a deep commitment to public service. We are proud to recognize Shane Dennison. Shane began her preservation work as executive director of the Metro Historic Zoning Commission, where she played a key role in creating Nashville's first conservation zoning policy, a critical tool that has helped protect the character of neighborhoods across the city. It was during her time at the commission that she also began laying the groundwork for what would become one of Nashville's most transformative public initiatives, the city's Greenways system. Shane went on to become the first Greenways director for Metro Parks, a position she held for over 20 years. Under her leadership, Metro developed more than 90 miles of greenway trails and protected over 7,000 acres of parkland and greenway easements. She was instrumental in Metro's acquisition and preservation of historic properties like Stone Hall and Ravenwood, along with the Mo Lytle Tract in Donaldson and Hermitage, places where cultural history and natural landscapes intersect. Even in retirement, Shane continues to support preservation efforts, including the work of Friends of Two Rivers, where she has helped ensure that sites like Two Rivers Mansion and Stone Hall remain active and accessible to the public. The Fletch Koch Award honors individuals who demonstrate excellence in historical research, preservation, and the protection of places that matter. Shane Dennison's thoughtful leadership and lasting impact embody that spirit completely. Please join me and the Historic Commission in congratulating Shane Dennison.
Thank you very much. It's such an honor. And I have to say, without Ann Roberts as my first director when I was over historic zoning back in the very, very early years, and then the late Jim Fike, who was my boss at Metro Parks, and all the mayors, starting with Mayor Bredesen until I retired under Mayor Cooper. Without those teams and those individuals cooperating and advocating and funding, and especially the personal support I had from Ann Roberts and Jim Fike, it was wonderful and couldn't have been done without them. So thank you to the Greenways Commission, Sandra Duncan, who has been a strategic partner since the beginning in the Bredesen administration. I thank you too. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
My name is Don Cusick, and I'm here to tell you that Nashville history is alive and well and thriving. And a major reason for that is the History Club. And for that, we have to thank Gene Roseman and Bill Carey. The organization actually had a father. Some of you remember Bellevue Bob Allen, who was a member of the Metro Historical Commission for a number of years. But the History Club puts on a series of lectures. They meet at Fort Negley, and they just do a heck of a job of reminding us and renewing us and reviving us with the lectures on history. So, Gene Roseman, come on down front. You're a winner. Okay.
He couldn't come.
Okay.
It's very appropriate that Dr. Don Cusick would be introducing the Nashville History Club. He spoke last week, and he gave a presentation where it went beyond the 1 to 2 o'clock time. Not a person got up and left. They were so taken with him. And we thank you, and I certainly thank all of the people that have approached through the 4 years that we have been doing this, that have come and presented with no money involved. In fact, the whole club runs without money or any kind of membership regulations at all. We have over 500 people who are on our email list. And because the topic changes every week, people sometimes come more for the topic, but there's always a core group there, and they call it history class. So, but we did get the idea from Bob Allen, who did a similar club for 14 years at the Bellevue Y. Bob died during the COVID epidemic. Some of you knew him well. And Bill and I got together and said, well, we can continue that, but 50 Forward said they were going to do it themselves. So we thought that with our contacts, we would go to the Green Hills Library. We did for about a year, and we were very welcome there, but they have voting in the communal room. And because early voting is about 6 weeks and the machines come in and stay, we had a big lapse in there where we couldn't continue. So we went to Fort Negley, and that has been an absolute wonderful location for us. Free parking and free use of the building and so forth. And we thank the city for that. And we just had a growth throughout the 4 years where we're at 500 now. And there's several people in the audience I see who have spoken, including members who have come forward with some of their stories. There's a lot of history still alive in Nashville. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I'm Jill Meese, president of the Nashville Historical Foundation. We have 2 surprise awards today. And to present them, I would like to introduce Holly Barnett of the Tennessee Historical Commission and Tony Mason of the Tennessee Association of Museums.
Good afternoon. I'm Tori Mason. In my day job, I'm the historic site manager at the Nashville Zoo at Grassmere, but I also serve on the board of the Tennessee Association of Museums, fondly known as TAM, as their awards chairperson. I oversee a committee of 10 who collects nominations throughout the state of Tennessee from different museums for things like temporary and permanent exhibits, educational programs, public programs, school programs, special events, and so on. And through that process, we determine awards of excellence winners and awards of commendation winners. And we present those nominations and those winners at our annual conference every year in March. One of the other things my committee does is, through the process of looking at all of the award winners, we determine those that really stand out, either for their impact, the work that they've done, or some other reason that makes them just so outstanding that we want to really recognize them just a step further. And we present those nominations. We try to narrow it down to between 5 and 10. We present those to the former presidents of the association for what is called the President's Award, basically the best of the best. For 2025, we received 102 nominations from across the state for all sorts of wonderful projects, and we were able to award 94 awards of excellence and awards of commendation. One of those nominations, however, was from a first-time nominee, the Nashville Metropolitan Historic Commission, for their permanent exhibit, Sunnyside Renovations and Interpretive Plan. Not only did Sunnyside win an award of excellence, but it was one of 6 nominations chosen to be considered for the President's Award. And although this nomination did not receive the President's Award, the fact that it was noted by the committee and respected by the presidents was phenomenal. And I wanted to read you one of the things that one of our past presidents wrote. The Metropolitan Nashville Historic Commission not only took on a massive multi-million-dollar adaptive restoration project, but they did it with thorough professionalism, including an archaeological effort to learn more about and present the story of Indigenous and enslaved people. So with that, on behalf of the Tennessee Association of Museums, I am proud to present the TAM Award of Excellence to the Metro Nashville Historic Commission for their permanent exhibit, Sunnyside Restoration and Interpretive Plan.
Yes, we've got one more award. Well, I'm so glad to be here on behalf of our executive director, Patrick McIntyre, and he wanted me to share how proud we are of our longstanding partnership with the Metro Historical Commission as a model certified local government. So I'm here to present a Tennessee Historical Commission Certificate of Merit to the Metro Historical Commission for the Sunnyside Renovation and Interpretation Project, because this project embodies the principles of preservation, adaptive reuse, and community engagement. It told a complex story through archaeology that included involving the public, and along with faithfully renovating the Greek Revival mansion, it restored the earliest structure on the site, an 1823 log residence. And we know it was informed by meticulous research. It increased our understanding of Nashville's history and ultimately resulted in a vibrant hub for historic research, education, and outreach as the Office for the Historic Commission staff, and an amazing resource for the public. So congrats to the Metro Historical Commission for truly harnessing the power of place through this outstanding renovation and interpretation project.
Let me say to Tam and to my colleagues at the Tennessee Historical Commission, the Commission is thoroughly impressed and proud to be recognized for the achievements, basically, of the Metropolitan Historical Commission staff. We work to support them, but they are the ones that do the work. And I want to give a special thanks to Tim Walker, the Executive Director. He not only leads the staff, but sometimes as Chair of the Commission, he leads me. So I want to thank each and every one from each respective organization for these awards. They are greatly, greatly appreciated.
Well, it's hard to add much to that, but I just want to say it was such a team effort. I'm so appreciative of all my staff. They did some incredible research, spent additional time just looking everywhere. We really worked hard to try to uncover the story there, and it wasn't easy. But I really want to thank the city, Mayor Cooper, who really provided the initial funding that made this happen, Collier Engineering, who oversaw the construction management, Metro Parks, most especially. This was part of a capital plan that they had that we've been asking for 20 years to finish the renovations of our office. And it couldn't have happened without this team. And Dryden Architecture, who had been the lead, was hired early on to do the plan for this. But then when we got into the work, stopped to pivot and pause because we were uncovering so many layers and finding out things throughout the process, which caused us to redesign some things, all for the better. So it really couldn't have been done without all of these people's support. So, I mean, they came up, many of them are here just because they won a preservation award, but would you guys raise your hand? Because that team was incredible. Parks, Collier, Dryden Architecture. I mean, it couldn't have been done. And Mayor Cooper. And I want to add, it cost a little bit more because of the pauses and the change. And even Mayor O'Connell provided some additional funding that made it possible. It couldn't have been done without that team effort. So thank you to the city and Mayor O'Connell as well. Thank you.
What a great surprise, right? Thank you, Holly and Tori. As I mentioned, I'm with the Nashville Historical Foundation. We're a friends group to the Metro Historical Commission, and we're sponsoring a lovely reception for you all now in the Customs House. You may walk to 701 Broadway. The Customs House historic front doors will be open to you. Or if you want to drive, there will be parking available behind the Customs House in that parking lot, and then you can enter from the rear of the building off the parking lot. Congratulations to all the award recipients. Thank you all for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you at the reception. Thank you.